Dudes, this is a super cool guitar unboxing for a few reasons. The first is that these are incredibly good guitars that I've played quite a bit in shops, but I've never actually owned one myself. The second is that these guitars are from where I'm from. This is a Yorkshire-based guitar company, which is so sick.
Do it for Yorkshire!
It makes me really happy to have a UK guitar brand on the channel, and especially one that's so close. Like, they're based in York, which is not that far from me, really. And the last reason is that this brand is the first real legitimate guitar brand that's ever got in touch with me because they wanted to sponsor a video, which is so cool. That makes me incredibly happy. This isn't the sponsored video. Obviously, I've been sent this guitar to try out, but this is not the one that I'm being paid for. Now, obviously, the video that I'm being paid for, the review that's going to come later on, is going to be the exact same thing that you expect from me. It's going to be a proper breakdown of the guitar, and you're going to get my actual opinions. It's super cool that this brand have reached out knowing what my reviews are like, and they're like, yeah, review this guitar. For one, it speaks a lot to their confidence in the quality of their instruments, which I already know is good because I've played quite a lot of them in different shops. To have the bottle to be like, yeah, just do your thing, that's what we want from guitar companies. Anyway, enough yapping. Let's have a look. It's PJD Guitars. Also, sorry if I sound like I'm absolutely dying. I've got a chest infection currently that I'm still getting over. There's no inner box because this guitar shipped in an hard case, which is super cool. It's not standard, but it is an upgradable feature. They do ship with a deluxe gig bag as standard, which is also nice. And especially considering the price of this guitar, which we'll talk more about in a minute. Let's have a look at it first. Whoa, I know this is stupid, but they're super nice feeling catchers. These are like chunky spring-loaded jobbies. They're so good. Right. Oh, what have we got? Oh, dude, this is so nice. Yeah, buddy. Look at this, man. So this is the PJD St John Apprentice, which is a familiar offset shape that some of you might recognise, and is actually one of my favourite offset shapes. It's a little bit sized down from the original Jazzmaster. I like that. It feels more compact. It's actually pretty light as well. Also, I've never owned a guitar that's got a single bridge pickup, so this is going to be cool. Some of you are watching and are probably thinking that's much more vintage inspired than Jack would usually play. And you'd be right, we're just looking at it. But the thing with PJD Guitars is they take these really vintage inspired shapes and styles and take the look, but then make their guitars much more modern. I'll show you like the first sign of it. I mean, you might have noticed it's got like this really sweet, I'm just making sure I don't smash it into everything, this really sweet bevel. It's not just a normal arm bevel, it's like a proper angular thing. It's crazy comfortable actually. I really like that a lot. This is what's going to sort of clue you in straight away to the fact that this is a more modern inspired guitar than it actually looks. So look at that neck heel. Oh yeah, that is such a sweet neck heel, especially on something like a Jazzmaster, dude. Like, if we're getting right up there, this feels absolutely killer. Now, with this being the first time I've ever seen this guitar, is that the hardware has already been like a little bit relicked, which is really cool. I know like the relicking debate goes on and on. My best mate hates relic guitars. I actually really like relic guitars. What I don't like about relic guitars is paying out the absolute arsehole for them, because you're paying money for someone to beat your guitar up. I get the argument that like a relic neck feels better because it's played in, which is fine, but I don't see why you can't just roll your fretboard edges on a brand new guitar. PJD understands that because these fretboard edges are really nicely rolled. The neck feels great, dude. It's not super thin, but it's definitely not like what I'd call vintage spec. So the information that I've got, I can't find the neck thickness, but if I'm going to describe it, it's very Fender. It's kind of exactly what you're expecting from that. It's not thin, it's definitely not a thin neck, but it's not chunky at all. It's really quite a modern feeling neck profile. Feels really quite accessible, quite narrow towards the nut, and up here you've got a little bit more space to play, which is super cool. Hardware wise, before I tell you how much it costs, it's got Jaketto hardware on it. So it's got the Jaketto like clues on style tuners and then a Jaketto fixed bridge. Obviously it's a bare bones machine, like it's not made for anything other than just riffs. You're not here to get like split bridge tones and blah 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 blah. It's a workhorse riff machine. The coolest thing about it is one of my favourite bands, Landmarks. You might have seen me wearing a tie-dye shirt of theirs that I got from seeing them recently, which was absolutely fucking sick. They're basically like a French metalcore band. So they're a band that you would expect to see playing, I don't know, RGs, Super Strats, all that sort of thing that you would associate with like modern metalcore, but they don't. They play guitars like this, all these like really cool looking vintage inspired guitars that are obviously like made for metal. This has got that exact vibe, like the exact thing. If I saw one of these guitars in the hands of the guys from Landmarks, I wouldn't be surprised at all. The sized down offset body is really nice. It's really comfortable. It's a little bit neck divey, but not in a disgusting way. You can quite easily keep the guitar here while you're playing. I'm not fighting it to keep it up. It looks great. It looks absolutely great. And I've been super excited to get to try this out. Frets feel fantastic. This just feels like a stripped back bare bones version of the PJDs that I've played previously, that you can just pick straight up and just get into abusing. Now I'm not going to abuse it because it's got to go back. This isn't mine. It feels like a guitar that you just pick up, you could take to gigs, thrash it, play some chunky riffs on, and look pretty cool while you're doing it. I do love a vintage looking guitar, and this like tickles that. Actually, before we have a listen to how it sounds, I need to tell you how much it costs. This thing is £899, including a gig bag. That seems incredibly reasonable. You can tell straight away that it's incredibly well made, which is so cool. To know that there's guitars that are Yorkshire based, that are well put together, feel this solid, that makes me really proud actually, and I've got nothing to do with it. I just happen to be from here. So as always with the unboxings, I have done absolutely nothing to it other than tuned it. All right. The first chugs. You've always got to test a guitar with chugs first, surely, aren't you? That's how I do it. It's ages since I played that. Dude, this thing sounds great. So the pickup in this is a PJD hand wound jobby. Let me just see what it's called. I can't remember what it is. It is the PJD Wadfather. Yeah, I mean, don't be fooled. It's got like this tortoise shell plastic topper on the cover. So like, you'd be forgiven for thinking that like, oh yeah, that's an humbucker, but like, is it going to be like something you'd find on a Gretsch, or I don't know, something underwound? Nah, not at all. It's super hot. This is a bit of a beast, honestly. My initial first impression is that like, this is a rhythm guitarist's absolute dream. I've got no doubt you can shred on it, but it's not really the vibe I'm getting from it. It's not the thing that like I feel like this guitar wants to do. It's like an hardcore guitarist's ideal instrument, I think. Just absolutely no bollocks, straight to the point riffs. I respect that massively. It's so utilitarian, but in like the best way. If you were a gigging hardcore metalcore guitarist, it's gonna just stand up to any punishment that you throw at it. If you can imagine being on stage in a little venue and just cranking out riffs and just looking out, and there's people spin kicking each other, people just absolutely annihilating each other in the name of good music and having loads of fun, and you're creating it on this, I think that's the perfect setting for it. Now, I can't speak for any other settings. You don't come to my channel to talk about classic rock, do you? You want the perspective of someone who listens to slightly heavier music and has taken a spin kick once or twice in their lives. If I was in a band like that just wanted to put out some punishing riffs, I could see me using this. But I need to really give it a proper test and write something with it, but you can be sure that what I'm going to write on it is going to be some filthy riffs. I don't think you're going to see a lot of lead playing in this demo. I think you're just going to hear riffs. I'm going to crack on with testing this and writing with it and having a good time, I'm sure. Thank you for watching, and thank you to PJD for letting me try this guitar. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, week, weekend, wherever you are. Thank you so much for watching, dude. Take care, stay safe. I'll see you later.